Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of Arts and Crafts for You. This is my first video for 2014, and on this video I'm going to show you how to create this bag. You can do it in any color. On this video I'm going to show you the red, and I have one here in blue. If you are a subscriber, you will have a chance to win this bag because I will be giving this bag away to one of my subscribers. So if you like the bag and you are a subscriber, write a comment below for a chance to win. So let's get started. So to make this bag is all made with squares. So I'm just going to give you the number of squares that you're going to need, and then you can get started. Okay, let's start with the list of materials. So you're going to need definitely a sewing machine, some scissors, sewing thread, a marking pen. We're going to need, and then we're going to need, I use for my handles, curtain grommets. And for the fabric, for the main fabric, you're going to need, let's see, I wrote it here. You're going to need 5 different colors. And in 4 colors, you're going to need 4 squares of 5 by 5. And one of the colors, you're going to need 6 squares of 5 by 5. So I have all mine here. So, and I went this time, I went with reds and blacks. So as you see, I have like, there's one color that's 4. Then I have another one that's 4, and then 4, 4, and one of them it's 6. And then for my lining, I'm going to need 22 squares, and it's going to be also 5 by 5. And we're going to need batting so the bag end up a little bit thicker. And those squares you're going to cut a 4 by 4 because I really don't want to see any of my batting. As if you see in the bag, we're going to have to cut it into the fabric, and I don't want to have any of the batting showing. So you're going to have that. And then to attach the grommets to your bag, you're going to need 4 pieces of fabric, whatever color you choose. And those measurements are going to be, let's see. So it's going to be 3 inches by 2.5. And for my straps, I'm going to need 2 pieces of lining and 2 pieces of the main fabric. And those measurements are going to be 21 inches long by 2.5. And I'm also going to put a little bit of batting into my straps, and that's going to be the 21 inches long also. But the width is going to be again 1 inch shorter. So I'm going to have 1.5. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing you got to do is organizing your squares and see how you're gonna set up your bag. And this layout is a little bit, it's not difficult, but sometimes you have so many colors you get a little bit confused. So let me show you how I'm gonna do mine. So hopefully that helps you figure out how you're gonna do yours. You can do any combination any way you wanna. So mine I'm gonna start with the orange in the middle. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it as if it was a triangle. So I'm gonna go it this way. I'm gonna put it across like that. So I have my 4, that's my first color. Now I'm gonna get the color that I have 6, and I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna feed them in here. So just to make it this way. So I'm gonna put one there, one there, one here, one there, over here, there's one here, and one right over here. So then I'm gonna decide, so I'm gonna then pick up the other the other color, and I'm gonna put one over here and one right over here. And then I'm gonna go on the opposite side, and I'm gonna put one there, take the scissors away from there, and one over here. Okay, so then I'm gonna get then I still have 2 colors left, so I'm gonna go put one here, and then I'm gonna alternate with the other color. I'm gonna put my red and one of this color and one red. And I'm going to go to the other side, and then I'm going to do the opposite this time. So if I have red here, I'm going to put this color here, and then I'm going to put red here, and this one here, and I'm going to end up with red here. So as this, if you look at the pattern, really what you have here, you have 2 squares. Like you can lay it out this way also. You can put 1, 2 squares, and then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, and this one. So if you had your square here, you had 1 in each side, and then you're gonna do 5. So you're gonna start from this end. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and you're gonna go 1 in, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again, and then you're gonna repeat again. You're gonna go 1 in. You're gonna do your 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1 again and your 2. So you really have the same pattern there. After you decide that's your layout that you want, you don't have to do exactly like this. You can mix your colors, whatever you want. You can even use all different colors. It doesn't even have to be, you know, a pattern at all. I decide to do mine this way, but you don't have to do it that way at all. Then what you have to do, you're going to pick up your batting. So you're going to pick up 1 piece of batting, and 1 from your back. So you're going to put your batting on top of your back, and then 1 of your main color. So you're going to get 1 of your main color. So you're going to make like a sandwich. And what I did in all my squares, I sewed a cross, made a cross like that. Sometimes to speed it up, what you can do, you can chain piece. You can, you know, put it in your sewing machine as soon as you get to the end of your square. So I'm just going to show you quickly here what I mean. So you can sew this across, and when you get here, if you already have all your squares assembled, you can just add another square into the machine. If you're not comfortable with sewing, I would pin this. I would really pin it so I know my fabrics are not moving on me. On this case here, I'm not doing that, but you should probably put a couple pins so at least stays nice and stable. And then you'll see, as I don't even take this out. I just put my other tip and my fabric, and I feed it right in, and I sew right across. So I don't have to really do each one individual. And you can keep doing that to all your squares right across. Again, if you're not good with lines, if you're still just starting to sew, you can definitely use a ruler and draw a line across right in the middle, do a crisscross, and then sew it on. When I do this, I always like to use about a 3.5 stitch length. I don't use the 2.5, the regular one. I always increase it a little bit. After you've done all your squares crisscross and you figure out all your pattern here, then you have to sew them together. So what I'm gonna do here, so I'm gonna start getting 2 and 2 together and start sewing them. Okay, and your seam allowance here is gonna be a 1/2 inch, and you're gonna put these two together and you're gonna sew those. So you'll go here and just sew. So you end up with this like that, with the raw edges, and on the inside you have no seams. Okay, so now I have my first 2 done, so I'm gonna now sew all my rows, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I sew all my rows. I put it all into rows like this, and now I have to attach all these rows together, right? So again, like I said, you start with 2 and then you have 4. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna get these 2 together, and what I want is, I want to open this seam here and join them together with a pin, because I want them to go straight. So I'm gonna go here and pin it, and then this way here, I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna sew it across. So I'm just gonna go here. I'm still using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, So I'm just gonna go here to the machine and sew that together. So I'm gonna sew right across. Of course, take your pins off because you don't want to sew over pins. And this is a really good project for beginner sewers because they don't have to be perfect, because you're gonna, you know, cut all these, you're gonna cut into this seam allowance to make your little fringe. So it doesn't really matter if it's 100% straight. And when you get here to the end, back stitch. And you end up like this. So you have your 2 and then you have your 4. And now you're gonna have your 5. So again, you're gonna go here, match them there. All your seams, you're gonna match them, and you're gonna keep sewing all the way until you have all this sewed in. So after you join all your rows together, you matched all the seams and you sew across, join all the rows. As you see, all the raw edges, it's on the outside of your bag, and your lining and your inside of the bag has no raw edges. If you like a bag that's more of a clean look and you don't want to see any raw edges inside or out, you can definitely follow the same idea with the squares. You do this layout, and then what do? You have to sew your main fabric all together. Then you attach your main fabric to your lining, to your batting, not your lining. You attach it to your batting. You quilt it, and then you have to attach a separate lining on the inside of your bag like this one. I'm just going to show you this one that I have here, that I've done it that way. So I did the same process. I did all my squares, and I attached my main fabric just to the batting, and I quilted around the edges. And then on the inside, I put a lining, a separate lining with a pocket. You know, you can definitely do that. And you can use different size squares. Doesn't have to be a 5 by 5. Any size will do. It just has to be a square. So after you've done this, we'll continue with the other bag. What you have to do is cut all into your seam allowance to have like kind of the fringe looking. So I've done quite a bit already. I cut some. But just be careful when you're cutting so you don't cut your seam, because then you end up with a hole in the bag. So I'm just going to go here with the tips of the scissor, and I'm just going to cut right in little bits. It's just the same idea as those rag quilts that a lot of people make. It's exactly the same idea. You're just making it into a bag. So I'm just going to cut a couple ones here that I have left. I've cut most of them already. And then I'm going to show you how to attach it to form the shape. Okay, I think I'm pretty much all done. Let me have a look. I think there's one more here that I didn't cut. So I'm just going to go here and cut this out, last one, just with the tips. I'm going to make sure I don't catch my seam. And okay, then I'm done. So now this is the shape. This is what we have. So what are you going to do? You're going to fold this in half. So right here, you're gonna cut it in, you're gonna fold in half, just like that, so you have this type of shape here. So and then what you're gonna do, you're gonna go over here where you have your triangle, that's your opening, and then if you see, the bottom here has no open. It's not open. Okay, so you're gonna go here, you're gonna put a pin here, right there. And also on this side, we're going to do the same thing. And you're going to put a pin here. And what I want to sew is this part here is going to be where my handles are going to be attached. That's the opening of my bag. So I want to sew from here to here. So from there to there. And then here in the bottom, you know, I'm going to sew there to there. So I'm going to also put a pin there where I need to sew so I don't get confused. I'm going to put a pin there. And the same thing to this side. So I'm gonna sew from here to here. This is my opening to get in the bag. I'm gonna sew this part here. I'm gonna leave just halfway. I'm gonna sew it here. And then the same thing with the bottom here, from there to there, all the way to the end. So let's do this quickly. So I'm gonna take this to the machine, 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I'm gonna sew it through. And then I'm gonna do this top here also. Okay, the other side. The other side right here, 1/2 inch seam allowance, back stitch, and the bottom, so after you sew that, so you're gonna end up with this. So this is your top, okay? You sewed here and here and down here, and then you end up with this part here and here open. So if you put the bag like this, I have this open. So this is going to be my corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to match this corner here, this part with this part here. And I'm going to put a pin. And what I'm going to do is sew across there. Do the same to this side. This is my opening. So I'm gonna match my 2 seams here and put a pin and sew across. Okay, after you sew across those 2 areas, then the bag ends up like this, and as you see in here, up here, you don't have a seam, so you can still see your batting and stuff. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna do half an inch seam all the way up this way with the triangle, all the way up, all the way down to this corner, and all the corners. So where you attach the handle, so you can cut into your seam allowance again, so you have exactly the same look as I did here. If I show you here, I had my seam allowance and I cut into it. Okay, so I'll be right back and we'll start working on the handles. So after you sew the cross there, you're gonna trim all the areas that you join here again into just be careful you don't cut into your seams. And then, like I said to you, you sew up and down here so you don't see the batting, and then you can again clip into your seam allowance, so you end up with that edge like that, all the way where the handles are gonna go. So as you see, we have our bag done. Now we're gonna work on the handles, and for the handles you're gonna get your lining. So you're gonna put your right side down, and you're gonna get your batting on top like that, and your main fabric right on top. my lining here is a little bit bigger, but it's not a big deal. I'm gonna trim it off after. It's a little bit longer. So now I'm gonna put a couple pins so I know where, so this doesn't move while I'm sewing. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same to the other handle. Dot down. Of course, after you trim, you end up with a lot of little strings around. But it's okay. After you put in the wash, everything is gone. So I'm gonna put this right in the middle again. My batting right in the middle. So I have about 1/2 inch seam allowance in each side. And I'm gonna put my main fabric on top. Again, put a couple pins to hold it. Like that. And all the way to the end. And for my sides, I need 4 of these to attach. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it right sides together. I'm gonna put a pin and I'm gonna do a seam there. Same with this one, lengthwise. Right, so, and we're gonna use all a 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna take your handle and you're gonna do a seam in each side. So one on this side, one on this side, a 1/2 inch. So I'm just gonna put in the machine here, do a 1/2 inch. So after you sew your straps, you did a seam, a 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch in, and then you sew a couple rows in the middle. You're gonna cut into the seam allowance again to make your French, and then your little pieces, that's for the handles, you sew in a 1/2 inch also, and then you flip it inside out. You end up with a little square like this. So now you're gonna have to attach this to your bag. You do that to both the straps, and to attach to the bag you're gonna get your grommets, your curtain grommets. And normally they come like that and they attach very easy together. You just snap them together like that. And what I want to do, I want to get my fabric and I'm gonna fold this in this way like that. And I'm not really concerned about the raw edge because it's the look of the bag. The bag has all that kind of look, and I'm gonna put this in here and I'm gonna fold it over like that, and I'm gonna fix my fabric to have that kind of a look. And then I'm just gonna take the sewing machine, I'm gonna do a seam across. So I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna use a double stitch just so it's more secure. Most machines have a double stitch. If yours doesn't, then you might wanna do like twice, maybe sew it twice as a regular seam, so you make sure you catch the fabric. I'm sewing on the right side of my fabric because I want the orange to be on the top, and right now I have red on the bobbin. So I sewed across, as you see, I sewed across, so I cut my fabric here. So, but I'm not really gonna worry about that because when you wash it, this is gonna the fibers are gonna soften up. They're gonna get very soft, and it's gonna give you that kind of look, a soft look. So that's how you attach your grommets to the strap, and then you have to attach it to the bag. And to do that, you get your little piece here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it here about a little bit down. I would say, let's say almost 1 inch down from the tip, and I'm gonna put that there. and I'm gonna do a seam across. So I'm gonna sew it right here. So I'm gonna go here and just again using a double stitch. So I did my double stitch. Now I'm gonna get the strap that I attached the grommet, and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna put it through, and then I'm gonna put a pin here and sew across. Okay, I'm just gonna put a pin. I just ran out of thread on my bobbin, so I'm gonna have to do another bobbin. But this is pretty much what you have to do, just sew here. I already sew all the other ones in, so the bag is pretty much done. What you have to do now for this bag to look soft like this one here, you just have to wash it, and then you can put some decorations and you're pretty much done. So I'll be right back when my bag is washed and dried. It's a good idea when you make this bag. I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning that you use 100% cotton fabric. It's an woven, and normally I wouldn't wash it. I would wash it after, so all the fibers kind of, you know, blend in together and they get all soft. Okay, so I'll be right back when the bag is washed and dried. So now I'm back. The bag has been washed, and you see all the edges they're frayed, because when they go in the wash they fray and they look so soft. They look a lot softer. What I did here, I just hanged some jewelry that I had sitting around, and you can also pin one of the brooches on it if you'd like, so just to add a little bit more style. It's entirely up to you if you want to do that, but I kind of like it, so I'm gonna put this one on. As you see, like I even did it on the same on this one here. I added one here. So and our bag is done. So if you are a subscriber, just write a comment on the bottom for a chance to win this bag. I will be sending this bag to one of my subscribers, and I will be announcing the winner in my next video. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.